What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to go over 12 mistakes to avoid selling books on Amazon.
Grind hard, well done, sir, and welcome to the freaking Well Show.
Most beginners make these mistakes and they absolutely crush your business or side hustle. So if you're doing a side hustle, business, whatever, these 12 mistakes will destroy you. Number one is sending in non-profitable books. Okay, so a lot of people send in non-profitable books. They get super excited. And here's actually one of my first scouters who went out for me, and we set the bar low. And regarding triggers, like I wanted him to accept anything that made us profit. So if it turned green, boom, he was throwing it in the cart. He would call me every other day and he'd be like, yo, dude, I got 100 books today. I got 200 books today. And I was like, dude, you're crushing it. But part of the deal was he would get 10% of the profits. So he's interested. I always want the people that go out and find books for me to be interested in the profit. Okay, so he was interested in the profit, but he didn't really know. I mean, he's on an Amazon seller. Well, now he is. Now he's got his own business. I trained him how to sell on Amazon. But here's his books, and as you can see, this is this spreadsheet right here breaks down numbers. So it gives you the sales numbers. You can see his ASP is not super high. It's between $5 and $16. And this column right here is an important column. This column shows the actual profit. So if we're scrolling down here, we see anytime it's red, that's negative profit. And let's see what his profit's currently at. $59. That's not that impressive for 64 books. That's less than $1 profit per book. Here's the cost of goods. So this is how much he actually paid for the books, or how much we paid for the books. You know, we paid $8 for this book. It sold for $15. We lost $1.53. Even cheaper books, $1.50. We lost $1.51. So you can see that the ASP is super low here, $5, $6. ASP stands for average sales price. Don't send in cheap books, guys. Look, if we just would have sent in the really good stuff, the stuff we knew was going to sell, if I would have set the triggers higher for him, and instead he only got 15 books a day, 15 books a day versus 100 books a day, we would have made a lot more profit because we wouldn't have paid as much, which would have increased our profit margins. We wouldn't have to pay for the overhead of I have to pay someone to list the books. I have to pay someone to reprice the books. If you have a repricing software, they charge more the more inventory you have. So don't send in non-profitable books. Set your triggers high. What are good triggers to set? Go into ScoutIQ, Scoutly, whatever app you use, and bring all the bottom triggers. Usually they're about between $2 and $3 starting out. Move all those up to $4 or $5. $5 if you really, if you're doing a side hustle, at least $5. If you're not doing a side hustle, you could drop to $3.50, maybe $4. The reason why I say that is if you have a side hustle, you already have a full-time job, you're going to waste a lot of time listing the books. You just got to realize when you have more books, it's more work. It's more repricing, more sourcing, more upfront cost, more inbound shipping, a lot more fees. So don't send in non-profitable books. That is tip number one. Tip number two is not tracking your sources. You want to track your sources to know if they're actually profitable. So let me show you all my sources right here. You can see this is most stuff I got from Nashville back when I lived there and just going to thrift stores. $25,000 profit. Okay, 65 route, I-65. You guys know the interstate I-65. I used to go up and down that interstate and buy books. I only did it like twice. Or I only called it the 65 route twice. That's why it's only $300 profit, but it's profitable. That's like 2 days of work right there. Utah, it's not profitable. Whenever I went to Utah, lost $1.59. Shouldn't have gone to Utah. This is my buddy from college. $339 profit. Pretty good. We're going to keep doing that. My friend's dad, $30.95 profit. Okay. Oh, what's this? Losing money here. Oh, that's the source where my buddy Terrell, he watches my YouTube videos. It's not his fault. It's my fault for setting the trigger so low. But boom, we sent in a lot of inventory that wasn't profitable. Inbound shipping fees, buy cost. We have to pay for the books up front. Not profitable. Whenever it comes up right, it's not profitable. Aaron Baker. Shout out Aaron Baker, one of my consignees for restrictedinventory.com. It's a service where I sell other resellers restricted items. DVDs, CDs, popular textbooks. $607 profit. Good shit. Me and him are going to continue to do business. Aaron Forney, $106.19. Great. Abe Green, $13. Not bad. We could probably do better. He's going to help me out with some software stuff in the future. So hopefully we'll make a little bit more money from him. But let's see. Abigail Harris, $367 bucks. Great. Abigail Chandler, we're at negative for whatever reason. Need to go reassess that. So these are, you guys know I do consignment. That's my business model. But I also have different thrift stores in here. I have Goodwills. How profitable is this library? Here's my buddy Andrew Gong, my first consignee ever. 6,400 profit. And that was a trip we did together to New England. We went to New England for 14 days and we just sourced thrift stores and libraries. And we took a couple of days off. $6,400 profit, great. And we haven't even sold everything out yet. So if we go over here, we can see all the metrics of, we sent in 981 books, 772 have sold, that's 79%. Total list price was $43,000. We've only sold $15,000, probably because we sent a lot of stuff in at like $200 or $300, just fixed price, and we repriced it later. Average sales price $44. That's pretty damn good. Total inventory cost, we spent $1,800. So this is good stuff. And I have not uploaded my disposal reports yet, so we'll see how much we've paid in removal fees. But this breaks down everything. So know your sources, measure your sources. Don't just assume because you're listing hundreds and hundreds of books a week that you're listing them from the best sources. You have to be very picky with your sources. Say no more often than you say yes. As you grow your business, starting out, probably say yes to everything. Learn. You want to learn as much as possible starting out, but pretty soon you're going to have hundreds of sources coming to you. If you hustle hard, you're going to have hundreds of sources. You can't pursue all those. If you want to run a six-figure business, six-figure profit business, you need to be selective with your sources. So that's tip number 2. Measure your results. Okay, now I can get into the full PowerPoint. Focusing on the wrong sources. So that goes hand in hand with what I just said. If you can't measure your sources, you are not going to know which sources are the wrong sources. But aside from just the profitability of the source, you got to look at the scalability of the source. Is this source going to be around for the next 5 years? Is this source easy? Or do I have to rent a huge truck each time to pick up the books? Is this source a pain to work with? Are they always haggling prices? How much do I have to invest up front? Is it zero investment up front? Is it a consignment deal? That's why I always advocate consignment. Can I grab these books from him, pay nothing up front, and then pay the source, pay the business once the book's sold? Am I getting the books for free? All these things matter. So focus on the sources that are replenishable, predictable. Time and time again, you can go to them, preferably pre-sorted inventory. They scan the stuff for you, and then you can get the final product delivered to your doorstep. They can ship it to you. They can put it out, if it's a library, they can put it out, in the main area, thrift store, they can put it out in a shopping cart. All you have to do is go there and pick them up. In my case, I use a lot of resellers. They go out, they find inventory for me, and they send it to me. Boom, pre-sorted inventory right there. Do not focus on the wrong sources. Getting too excited over your first bulk lead. This is huge. I get lots of DMs on Instagram about, oh, I just got this bulk source. I'm so excited. It looks cool. You have 12 Gaylords in your garage for the first time. Maybe you rented a storage unit. Maybe you have a warehouse. Maybe you already had a different business that required a warehouse. Maybe you went balls deep and you bought warehouse space. Whatever it is, you were so excited about your first bulk source, but you violated the previous rule, focusing on the wrong sources. These Gaylords that you got are terrible, and you're only pulling 3%, and that's at violating the other rule. You're focusing on cheap books, which is not tracking your sources, or not sending in non-profitable books, rule number 1, and your business is going downhill. You have so much upfront investment. You got the warehouse space, you got the storage unit, you got the inbound shipping for the books that were profitable. If you hired help, you got to pay them, and at the end of the day, you're not making that much money. Now, bulk is great. I know some of my mentors are doing $3 million a year. Gross sales doing bulk, able to pay themselves a couple $100,000, but they focus on the right sources. They're not saying yes to just anything. And they're even dealing with so much volume because it's such a hustle with bulk that they're having to, be even more picky. Like, they're having lots of sources come to them. There's no way they can handle all of them. And they're having to partner with different people. And like one of my friends, I'm helping him process CDs. There's no way he can go through all of it himself. That's why pre-sorted inventory is huge. A box or two of pre-sorted inventory is equivalent to a Gaylord. For those of you that don't know what a Gaylord is, you're like, what the hell is he talking about? It's a pallet of books. pallet of books has not been scanned through. So after you scan through it, you're left with about a box or two generally. What if you got that box or two pre-sorted, by a school program? What if the school, elementary school, middle school, high school, middle school and high school probably, they have books each semester. What you could even, you guys can get creative with this, but you could have, you could partner with the PTO, parent teacher organization, have them all bring books to you. There's 1,000 ways to do this, but you could have them scan the books for you. They do everything. It's a consignment deal. Boom. Now you have a couple boxes of pre-sorted inventory. That's equivalent to a Gaylord. You save yourself space. No one had to go through it. And it's instant money right there. Zero upfront costs. Okay. So don't get too excited over your first bulk lead. Be smart. Follow the right guys. Shout out Latin Pickers on Instagram. They're great to follow. They're realistic. They're very raw with what they tell you. They let you know up front it's a lot of work, but I see a lot of people get crushed by their first bulk lead. Not pursuing textbooks. There's colleges all over the country, and education is huge right now. Students are still paying hundreds of dollars for textbooks. Pursue the textbooks, guys. Your ASP with textbooks is going to be between 30 and 130 bucks. Your average sales price is going to be up there, which means you get paid more from Amazon. It's the same work at the end of the day. You're taking a book, you're listing it on Amazon, you're repricing the book. It's just one unit, right? It's one unit from the sourcing to the listing to the repricing to the removing to the long-term storage fee. It's one unit. Textbooks are a little bit bigger. You're going to pay a little bit more for long-term storage fees, but it's one unit the whole time. Why focus on a bunch of $9 books when you could focus on a bunch of $90 books? It's just a different mentality. You have to go to different sources. You have to work a little bit harder for them. But there's colleges everywhere. There's libraries near colleges. There's thrift stores near colleges. Colleges are where the books are going to be. So just think what surrounding area is going to have the books around the college. It's going to be, thrift stores are going to get the donated books. The libraries are going to get some donated books. The colleges are going to have the books. You can set up buyback programs. I have a couple YouTube videos on that where at the end of the semester, you can go to a college and purchase all the books from the kids. There's Facebook Marketplace near colleges. You can set the zip code near the college. Focus on books, guys. And focus on, if you can find a relationship, if you can establish a relationship with a source that has textbooks, that is gold. Keep that relationship. You can establish that relationship with professors each year, with bookstores each year, with students each year. Students are going to be gone in 3 or 4 years, but you can still establish it with them. That's why I prefer to work with faculty members. Wrestling teams. A lot of you guys don't have this leverage. Comment below if you're a wrestler, but I work with wrestling coaches and athletic directors. We get the kids are on scholarship, right? They're on scholarship. They have all their textbooks and they have all their books paid for. And at the end of the semester, the bookstore guy does not buy them. The bookstore, I'm not the bookstore guy at my school. I'm still working on my alma mater. I'm still working on becoming the bookstore guy there. I'm not currently right now, but he doesn't buy a lot of the books. So the books are in the athletic director's office. We get about $2,000 profit. That's for us, for my business. It's a total about $4,000 or $5,000. After all is said and done, after we pay them their 50% split, comes out to about $2,000 a piece. Focus on textbooks, guys. Not focusing on replenishable sources. You guys get all excited over bookstore closing down, or you get excited over what's another replenishable source, non-replenishable source? I mean, in a way, thrift stores and even libraries up front, you go in there and you're just scanning what's on the shelves, library sales, little things like that. You're focusing on sources that could be gone tomorrow. Gary Vaynerchuk gives a shout out to a huge reseller. Everybody starts getting in the book game for a couple weeks. Boom, your sources are done. Anybody can walk into a library. Anybody can walk into a thrift store. Wherever you're sourcing these books, if you didn't have to establish a relationship, what's the barrier to entry to your books? Think about that. And if the barrier to entry is very low, that for me doesn't meet replenishable sources because it's not predictable. Someone could come in and wreck your business for a couple weeks, maybe forever, because they're just going hard and they're not going to give up. So focus on replenishable sources where you have exclusivity. You've developed a relationship. You've provided value to them in some way, and you're the only one that's ever going to touch their books. Not focusing on relationships. This goes hand in hand with what I just said. You have to build relationships. Build relationships with the thrift store managers, build relationships with the library directors, build relationships with the college library directors, build relationships with the college bookstore. Even if you think they've done everything they can to squeeze all the money out of textbooks, I guarantee you there's so many colleges over the country that have bookstores that are not maximizing the profitability of their small little business they have running. They likely have a third-party guy coming in and helping them at the bookstore, but maybe that third-party guy doesn't take everything. That's the case I was dealing with. Maybe they don't have anyone. Maybe they don't even have someone helping them buy textbooks from students. So all these textbooks, it's disgusting, guys. Go to college's finals week. These kids are throwing books in the dumpster. You could help out with that. Set up bins all around campus. Set up a table for a day. Say, hey, don't throw away your textbooks. Bring them to me. Bring cash. Bring a huge couple $1,000s and pay them $20 per book, and you can resell them for $100 a piece. Focus on relationships, and this is going to stem from what kind of relationship do you have with the president of the college? What kind of relationship do you have with these different, people that, like, the decision makers, guys? Who's the decision maker at the thrift store? Is it the manager? Is it the owner? Who's the decision maker at the library? Is it the director? Who else is at libraries? Is it the head librarian? Just think of where books are. Recyclers. I've never done business with recyclers, but you could call recyclers, and a lot of them have books. And if you can, get them to scan the stuff for you first, and boom, get replenishable inventory. Sending in counterfeit books. That'll get your account shut down. Don't send in counterfeit books. And this isn't just like books. This isn't like pursuing sources that have counterfeit books. You guys can buy counterfeit books on college campuses. You guys can buy counterfeit books from thrift stores. That's your fault if you don't realize it's counterfeit. You can go to stopcounterfeitbooks.com, go through the training, have all your employees go through the training. Make sure you're not sending to Amazon inauthentic material. These books look real, guys. Some of these books are made better than the originals. So you have to know the signs. Just to summarize the main signs, if you look at the text on top of the book, it'll be like running off the page. It'll be off center. Look at the side of the book. Again, it's going to be off center. It's going to look cheap. The way you open up the book, there's some pictures on stopcounterfeitbooks.com that's got like pictures of the binding's going to look different. Do a quick run through all the pages. Are the numbers shifting around? Little things like that. So don't let counterfeit books completely wreck your service and completely wreck your business. Need to get myself pumped up. Been talking a lot. This is like my fourth video. So make sure that you have a system to find the counterfeit books. What was I just about to say? Something else about, it's going to be textbooks mainly. So don't freak out over every single book. There's some books are just poorly published. Some books just don't look good. So keep an eye out, especially for the big name publishers, McGraw-Hill, Pearson, any of the EPEG guys. Type in EPEG and look at all the publishers that are part of that, and be very careful with those books. All those books should get a second glance. The next tip I have is not hiring a lister. So what tip are we on right now? I want to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Tip number 9, you're not hiring a lister. Hire a lister as soon as possible. There's no reason for you to be working in your business, working a $10 per hour job when you go out and source $1,000 in inventory one day. You go out and you source $1,000 profit. What type of sense does it make sitting at home, working all day, working an 8-hour day, where you could have paid someone $60 to list all those books for you, and you could have gone out and found more inventory, but you're going to do it yourself? So all of a sudden your time goes from $1,000 a day to $60 a day. Doesn't make much sense. There's lots of benefits to hiring a lister. Check out that video above after this video is done, or you can go watch it right now. It's 9 reasons why you should hire a lister, and really break down the science behind it. There's so many different reasons why. You have a personal American assistant, you give someone a job. I go over all the different tips there. So if you need a little extra push, go check that video out. Not having a system for repricing. Tip number 10. So now you have your inventory, you've gotten everything sent in, and you've done a good job of focusing on replenishable sources. Your inventory is getting up there. You're 1,000, 2,000 in inventory. You need to have a system to move these books. Otherwise, your business is going to go downhill because cash flow is going to halt. Are these books actually selling? So either use a repricer to automate things. I like to use New Price combined with some automated repricing with Reprice It. We go back and forth depending on the time of year, but you want to have your inventory moving. Tip number 11, you're not selling on consignment. Okay. This is big, guys. It goes back to the cash flow issue. Even if you're going to a thrift store, you're like, oh, so what? It's just $1 a book. What if your goal is to source 2,000 books a month? Now you're $2,000 in the hole, not including inbound shipping. You go out to a thrift store, you source 2,000 books, you send them to Amazon, you are going to pay probably about 20 cents per book to get it there. So what is that, 400 bucks? Is that right? 20 cents a book. You're paying $400. So now you're $2,400 in the hole. If you paid someone to list them, you're probably closer to $3,000 in the hole. So now you're $3,000 in the hole and you've made zero money. What if you alleviated the buy cost? So now instead of being $3,000 in the hole, we take away the $2,000 buy cost. Now you're only $1,000 in the hole. You still have the inbound shipping and you still have to pay a team member to list them. Maybe you list them yourself. So we could take away that 500 bucks that you paid someone, but let's leave the 500 bucks right now. Let's just play around with this a little bit. $1,000 to send in the same books, but now you're selling them on consignment. You're not going to pay the person who gave you the books. You're not going to pay the business that is, that you build a relationship with the books until they sell. So now you free up $2,000. What could you do with that $2,000? You can hire someone for a full month to pack books for you full time. Or maybe you can hire someone full time for 2 weeks to pack books for you and another person to source books. How awesome would that be? Now you have two parts of the equation complete. All you have to do now is make sure repricing is good. Three steps to running a book business. Find replenishable sources, find a way to list them, find a way to manage that inventory. Those are the 3 steps, right? So now you have 2 of them complete. Just make sure repricing is handled. Boom. Your business is running without you. So make sure to sell on consignment, guys. I don't care if it's a side hustle for you, full-time thing. It's going to free up that cash flow situation. Last thing, thrifting too much, going to library sales, battling with people at the bottom of the barrel. I love all my mentors here on YouTube. I don't think there's no one I really don't like here on YouTube, but most of the things they talk about is these non-replenishable sources, going to thrift stores, going to libraries, going to library sales, whatever it is. And the more publicity they get, and the more people that enter this market to sell books, you guys should have an abundance mindset. There's so many books out there in America that no matter how many people I influence, or Reezy or Caleb Roth, Rakin, whoever, those are my main mentors. Doesn't matter how many people we influence. There's so many books out there. But something to consider is, and it's not just our fault, it's word of mouth, and more people are going to get in the game. You don't want to be like a crab at the bottom of a barrel fighting. It's nasty at these library sales. These people, you can tell that, this is maybe their only income, and they're all fighting over each other for the books. For 1 hour, it's winner takes all. If you guys have not been to a library sale, check out booksalefinder.com. You can go to one and experience it. But you guys should be thinking outside the box. Go upstream. I'm sure there's so many sourcing opportunities I have not considered. I break down a lot that I don't like to talk about publicly in my course. So if you guys I have a course called the Book Business Blueprint where I break all this down. It's created by me, influenced by my mentors. And some of them are private. Some of them aren't public. Caleb Roth is probably my #1 mentor publicly. And then I have a couple private, but some of them suggested, hey, I don't want this out there. So I made a course where people are paying me for it. So it's paid information. So I'm going to put whatever I want. But just get creative, guys. I talked about a lot in this video. Go watch this video again. I talked about some ways to build relationships. You don't want to be at the library sale every Saturday. More and more people come every Saturday. They're taking your books. They're literally in your business, taking your product. Imagine that. Imagine you're running a retail store and then all of a sudden your competition comes in and takes items off the shelves. That's what it's like being a library sale or a thrift store. Great way to get started. You guys should definitely go to a few, but you guys should be thinking bigger picture if you want to do this full time. Even if you're doing a side hustle. Even if you're doing a side hustle, implement full-time techniques, and it's going to result in higher profitability, less headache, and just a smoother business that even as a side hustle, you could get to run without you. That's it, guys. Much love. Like, comment, subscribe, do what you got to do. If you guys have never been to this channel before and you like the content, my name is Romer the Roamer. I roam around the country. Roam on over to that like button, hit that bell. More content's going to be coming out. Some cool interviews are coming pretty soon. This year, I'll be doing getting over my fears. So I'll be posting my public speaking opportunities that I get. I do want to swim out to the ocean, 100 meters, and I keep saying I'll swim 10 meters down, or not 10 meters, Jesus, 10 feet down. That's one of my fears. So little things like that. This channel is diversifying. I also dance, so I'll be posting some pretty cool dance videos. Peace out, guys. Much love.
Sir, and welcome to the freaking well show, and party central to my well ones. A night of violated hell codes. Dope sells like the charge do, but selling's all about potential, and money speaks, then I'm the main act. I give a damn about the intro.